Let's tell you about community leaders in Protea South. They say an estimated 2,500 households have been affected by the recent heavy rains in Gauteng. Residents there are this afternoon mopping up, or this morning mopping up their homes and salvaging some of their belongings. Old and damaged municipal water and drainage infrastructure is being blamed for the buildup of water during the heavy rain, something Tumaole Mohlaoli is taking a look at as he is in Protea South for us this morning, which by and large, as we just saw President Cyril Ramaphosa talking about service delivery or monitoring the situation in order to take a look at improving the lives of the people, as he said. This also speaks to service delivery.
It certainly does speak to service delivery on the issue of maintenance of infrastructure. Bulk infrastructure would be the term used there. And this bulk infrastructure is infrastructure that ensures that areas like this one are well drained whenever you have heavy rains. But it must also be said that this particular area is flanked by what seems like a waterway. You see a lot of green foliage there, which would suggest that those plants are water-based plants, and they are, drawing their sustenance from some water source there. So with all these problems here, the bulk infrastructure would seem to be at the heart of what has been described by many residents as a disaster, because they have lost absolutely everything. But let's get a sense from the local leadership, the ward councillors that are joining me now right now. The first I'll speak to, of course, is Lubabalo Magwenchu. Dr. Magwenchu, what has been done so far, and as a ward councillor, what are your plans to ensure that this kind of disaster doesn't repeat again?
Okay, just for correction, I'm not the ward councillor. The ward councillor is actually Councillor Nokutula. I'm actually here from the ATM, but representing the minority opposition parties. Well, as minority opposition parties in the city of Johannesburg, firstly, we feel that there is a lack of leadership, which is why we are faced with this thing, because most of the issues that we are faced with right now were issues that were proactively communicated to the city, but nothing was done about those issues of maintenance of stormwater drains, which is now a problem.
Right. And let's bring in ward councillor Nokutula Nomfela. Nokutula, what have you been doing as a ward councillor to try and address this problem, and what kind of response have you been getting from the city?
We have logged our calls with the urban inspector for JRA to come on site. However, what has been done was a launch of RSebeting from the MMC for transport, MMC Ngobeni, which didn't make a lot of difference because they patched a few potholes and unblocked few drains, but I was left stranded as a ward councillor.
When you say you were left stranded, can you let us know what you actually mean by that?
The roads are in a bad state in Protea South. Storm water, all of them are blocked. There's a leakage all over, so service delivery is not addressed properly.
If this is not sorted out, are we likely to see a repeat of the flooding that we've seen here? Maybe even worse if the clouds are anything to go by.
I'm even afraid to think of more rains that are coming, because what we saw yesterday was a real disaster. People's properties were flushed away, their food, clothes, they are left with absolutely nothing. And if the MMCs and the mayor don't come down on the people and assist us, I'm afraid to even think of what's going to happen with our residents.
All right. Thank you very much. Of course, that's Ward 10 councillor there, Nokutula Nomfela, and she just painted a picture along with, of course, the PR councillor, that will be Lubabalo Magwenchu, just saying that the area here, when it comes to infrastructure management, bulk infrastructure, is a great challenge, and that exacerbates the issue whenever we have flooding or heavy rains, and that then results in what we've seen here, where residents are now mopping up. They've lost lots of their belongings. Belongings have been damaged, and their houses have also been flooded. So that's the situation right now from here, and we will get back to you in the studio and continue watching the story and bring you the latest as and when it happens.
let you go, she mentioned something quite important, that leaders at the highest echelon, speaking of MECs, etc., need to come to the ground and give people some sort of assurance, or at least say something, suggesting what? That the people of Protea South have heard from nobody, they've been left to deal with this on their own?
Well, certainly in terms of the immediate response, the people here have been saying that they have heard from the local councillors, as I've just spoken to two local councillors who've been on the ground with them. But in terms of support that they are getting, they have had support from NGOs, including Gift of the Givers, who have been on the ground to try and offer support, handing out essentials like food parcels, essentials like blankets even, because many of the residents' own belongings were damaged and they had to keep warm. So they're saying that they want a more concerted response, and the councillors are saying that they're doing their best to ensure that this particular issue is escalated and more support can come to the ground. It seems like it's a long-term solution that's needed, beyond the issue of just ensuring that the residents have got a temporary shelter and have got the necessities they need just to get through the day. The issue of the bulk infrastructure and what will be done to ensure that flooding like this doesn't happen when it rains remains the challenge.
Indeed. Tumaole Mohlaoli in Protea South, thank you.